Sajni here, and welcome back to another video. So today I really want to share something which is very personal to me and my own personal journey and the experiences that I had to go through to learn this powerful lesson in my life. And I want to share this with you for all those who are going through a similar journey. And so the key message that I want to give is the emotional energies that we hold is the powerful thing that you can hone on, because we overlook a lot to do with the emotional energies, but those emotional energies are the ones which truly manifests in external reality. And I can share my own personal experience, and this is something which is very close to my heart. This is something, it costs me the lives of my parents to understand this lesson. And when I view those events, I see those now as a gift or as lessons or as blessings for me, which led me into my own spiritual journey, my own spiritual growth. That's why I follow the mission, I follow my passion, and that's why this led me to this journey, and that's why I'm here today. First off, I want to introduce this chart with you. This chart is from the book Force versus Power by David R. Hawkins, and this kind of helps you calibrate your emotional states of being or consciousness. Lower vibrations are the lower ones, which are the contracted energies, which are stress, anger, fear, grief, guilt, shame, and all of this chart. I'll put the chart up here for you to have a closer look. And then once we get the courage to be able to face these fears or face these low emotional vibrations, once we then go to a phase where we start to neutrality and reasoning, or reasoning is basically what meaning we give, and then enlightenment. Of course, we want to go up the scale, right? So we all are in different phases of our consciousness, and we have to go through our own journey to be able to realize this and understand this in depth. And therefore this chart gives us a lot of calibration. This chart really helped me calibrate my own energies and to how to slowly expand up the consciousness. Neutrality is basically when we start to now get the courage to be able to face those fears, face those events, look at those events and start to dissolve them, or start to nourish them, start to heal our soul basically from those events that we have faced. And then when we go up, we have the willingness, we have the acceptance to look at it, to dissolve it, to process it basically, you can say. And then reasoning is basically now what meaning are we giving to it, because whatever agreement that we give to life, whatever agreement that we have with life, is that agreement that shows up in our reality, and we hugely undermine that. But that is what happened in my life as well, and I'm going to share this shortly. And therefore once we start changing the meaning, we start upgrading our beliefs, start upgrading our thoughts, start upgrading our emotional charge. And when we go higher, then we start to feel the joy, the peace within ourselves, and we start to feel the wholeness or the completion within ourselves. And that's why then we go up the ladder. So this is the expansive energy. This is the expansive energy of wholeness, where we are open to life versus being contracted and being fearful of life, trying to control every event, but trying to be too much in the 3D realm. Because we living in a 21st century, of course, we rely too much on the 3D reality of what we see, smell, touch, hear, and all of that, right? So we are purely based on our physical realm. But truly, one part of us, to the journey that we have to go through, and it comes in all our phases in our lives, is to understand the invisible or the spiritual realm that we have to experience and understand the emotional energies. And once we truly start doing that, truly start understanding and going to the depths of our emotional energies and healing them, dissolving those emotions that we have to, letting go of those charges and not giving too much power to those negative emotional charges, and when we start to slowly expand in our consciousness. And that's exactly what it is. So to go back in my life, 2018 was really the year when I had to go through a huge overhaul in my own life. And this point was when I started to really understand consciousness, really started to understand emotional energies. And this point was when I went into a spiritual phase, is because the events that happened in my life. I lost my parents in a gap of just 7 months. Actually were in a phase where they were also in grief, they were also in fear, they were in stress because of the death of my brother at a very young age, at the age of just 22 years old. And that left them in that state of depression, in that state of resistance, not being able to let go of that event. And they kept on holding to that event, and so they were in this phase, or the lower phase of energy. And it really then started to manifest in their lives as diseases. So when we see disease, or when we see conflict, or when we see events like divorces, or events like a crisis comes into your life, you look at your own emotional energy. What is the dominant vibration that you're holding? Because that dominant vibration is what manifests. Because we look at it externally, because what is external is just a symptom. The cause is here. So this is what it took me. It cost me the lives of my parents, but they really left me this message to be able to hone on to be able to help me get into my own spiritual journey. So I take that as a blessing. I take that as a gift for me to be able to share this. And it took me a lot of courage for me to be able to share this message, to be able to change my meaning of this, and to be able to really go to that phase where I was able to accept and dissolve those emotional traumas, dissolve those griefs. And also the other side to this was basically I was blaming my father for a very long time, because he was a very disciplined, a strict father, and I was blaming him for taking away my freedom as a child growing up, because I grew very fearful of him, very disciplined and that sort of environment, and that made me contract my energy a lot. And when I grew up and when I demanded my job, or my social life demanded for me to be socially active or socially free, when I experienced that, I started to blame my father for being socially awkward or having that anxiety within me. And though I went to my job after my college and so on, but I still carried that energy of feeling contracted, feeling anxiety, feeling fear all while. And so when I started to look at that, and when I started to blame him, and then when he passed away after that, is when I went into a shadow phase. And I was able to see for what really it is, what emotional charge is, what it really it is. And I had to go through that to be able to see it, because we have, there's a saying that goes, seek to understand, then to be understood. So when you start expanding your energy, you start to view things from all perspectives. You don't just look at from your own tiny egoistic view of, this happened to me, or I am, life is happening to me, and you fall as a victim and you become powerless. Versus when I started to then let go of things, become more understanding, I expanded. Then I could understand that what my father was doing from his perspective was he was being protective. It was the love that he was showing from his angle. So I could able to then reason out those emotional charges, those emotional events, and then really took that as a blessing, as a gift for me to be able to understand my emotional energies and to be able to get to that part, because these were some crisis, because crisis is something which is a turning point in our lives. And those turning points really define how we then pivot into a new consciousness, and what meaning we label to those events, what kind of energy that we then heal or let go of, and then that starts to then spiral upwards and start to expand forward. Manifestation is basically whatever is manifested on the reality, on the physical realm, is what your emotional energies, or what your movement of your energies within you is happening. And we look at manifestation as something which we want to see, the invisible energies. So therefore, we hone on to our invisible energies. We hone on to these energies first. We calibrate first here, and then we are able to see what we're able to see. So right now, when you're looking outside, when you see diseases, when you see conflicts in your life, when you see chaos in your life, when you see unharmonious things happening in your lives, or when you see something that you're not to experience, then what you should do is basically not try to fix things outside, because I tried to fix it by trying to change my job or trying to change my house, or in those times when I was not married, I was trying to change relationships, but nothing works. If you try to do something on the 3D realm, but the cause is here, you may temporarily feel that relief, but it's just temporary. The ultimate fulfillment is when you start to tap into what the cause is, and from here start to calibrate, start to evolve, start to understand, go deeper into yourself, because nothing is more fulfilling when you're able to let go of what you're holding on to, which is consistently manifesting in your life. Because you may get to that job, you may get that raise, you may get that partner, you may get that job, whatever that you want to experience. But ultimately, if you're not healing this, if you are capped into a dominant vibration that you are in, you will continue to bring that experience. You'll go into that default mode again, right? No matter how hard you try. So that's exactly what happened to me, and that's exactly what I wanted to share forward. So if you truly resonate with this message, do mention it in the comment, and it'll be great to know. And if you're new to the channel, please do not forget to subscribe and hit that little bell icon so that you can be notified every time I put up a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.